So hi guys, welcome back to my live again. So today I'm going to read about mental health. So I'm going to read warning signs of poor mental health. What are warning signs of poor mental health? So William, so like his name is William. Some scientist. He gave some questions to aid mental health. So there are some 13 questions. If answer to any of these questions is definitely yes, and we need to go to hospital or treat our mental health issue. So what are the questions which William said told her? So if are you continually unhappy? Are you regularly are you upset when your routine gets disturbed? Are you unable to concentrate? Or do children get on your nerves easily? Or we have do you lose your temper easily? Are you always bitter? Uh, then we have oh, are you always worrying? Do you get aches and pains without any cause? Uh, do you suffer with differences in mood with relation to depression, fluctuation in of moods with relation to depression? Are you afraid without any cause? Do you dislike being with people? And you like regularly troubled by insomnia? Then we have, do you think you're always right? So these are the questions which are warning signs of poor mental health. So if any of these questions is definitely yes, then we need to go and help is necessary for that. So warning signs of poor mental health is over. Then we have drug addiction. So what do you mean by drug addiction? So generally I like page numbers for this, so I can remember, so I can be readily open and read it. So we have drug addiction. So what I have remembered, like D and D, period D. So it is a state of periodic or chronic consumption or intoxication. So it is defined as a state of periodic or chronic intoxication of drug detrimental to person and also individual and also society, produced due to repeated intake of habit forming drugs. So drug culture is so fast that in making roads into lives of people, so it's so fast from all walks of life, so it easily readily gets into people, so routine or people's body persons, so lives of young people. So what are reasons? So what are reasons for drug dependence? We'll see. First of all, it is due to a troubled home, disturbed home environment. Then we have curiosity or experimenting, natural tendency to experiment any drugs. And then we have to like escape phenomena, to escape from reality or tensions or frustrations. Then we have influenced from TV, radio, newspaper or article, any culture, disco culture, internet mostly. So to call a person a drug dependent, so we have to satisfy these three criteria. So he must be dependent on physical level, psychological level, and also he has to develop a tolerance. So physical level, in the sense a person may be like suffering from withdrawal symptoms. If he stops taking drug, then we have psychological dependence, in which person consistently or continuously have a feeling of taking the drug, compulsion to take drugs and obtain by it by any means. So you have a compulsion to take this by obtained by any means. Then a person may develop tolerance, which means increase in dose, tendency to increase the dose, because whatever the dose he takes today may not give the psychic effect tomorrow, so you have to tendency to increase the dose. And then we have management. In management, we have to first identify the uh, drug dependent person, and we have to detoxify him. So detoxification, in the sense we have to go and mm, get him into hospital for treatment, require hospitalization, hospitalize the person. And post detoxification we have to follow up the person to not rebound to taking drugs. And also the fourth step is to rehabilitate. So we have to send the person to rehabilitation center. So the government has promulgated or programmed an act called Narcotic Drugs and Psychoactive Substance Act, NDPS Act, so which came into force in 1985 to combat this problem. So we'll read about NDPSA Act some other time. So preventive measures include, see, we have to educate target groups, mostly adolescent groups. School going children are mostly affected by this drug dependence. So we have to educate the groups, mostly target groups, and also general public, through we have to educate them through radio, leaflets, and TV, posters to create awareness of the problem. So that is drug addiction, guys. Then we have drug dependence. What do you mean by dependence? Dependence may be psychological or physical dependence. So dependence may be psychological or physical, resulting from interaction between a drug and the organism, and a person may develop behavioral changes and other changes, responses that always include a compulsion to take the drug on a continuous periodic basis to experience the same psychic effect, and sometimes to avoid discomfort of its absence. So person may be taking one or more drug, he may be smoking along with alcohol. So these both are drug dependence. And mostly what are the drugs which people tend to take in this world nowadays are tobacco. Tobacco is a major epidemic problem, biggest public health threat in the world has ever faced. So most people die from tobacco-related diseases rather than cancer, like stroke, MI, aortic aneurysm, peptic ulcers, and also three factors which are associated with the intake of drugs in these kind of people are due to, like see, a peer pressure. A person may be suffering from a peer pressure, and then we have like disturbed home environment, and the person maybe so employment outside the home, and after see following the example of parents or siblings. So these are three factors, and we have also passive smoking, which is very dangerous. So it is secondhand smoking. It is a combination of both smoke from end of tobacco, emitted from the burning smoke emitted from the burning end of a cigarette, and the tobacco releasing drugs product, and smoke exhaled by the smoker. So this both combine and give us a passive smoking effect. So then we have alcohol. Alcohol is a drug which is a sedative, tranquilizer, hypnotic, and anesthetic sometimes. So depending upon the quantity consumed. So alcohol is the only drug which is which can be whose self-induced intoxication is socially. So alcohol is the only drug whose self-induced intoxication is socially acceptable. So if a person takes alcohol himself, it's okay, socially acceptable, like that. So other drugs like cocaine, cannabis, these are not socially acceptable. Like narcotic drugs and psychoactive substance act, according to NDPS Act, they can be punished for 7 years or imprisonment or fine. So alcohol is the only drug. So it provides some psychic effects. So to take compulsion of the drug. Mild, it may be mild or strong. Physical dependence may be slowly developed, not immediately. Psychic or immediately developed. Then amphetamines and cocaine. So amphetamines are due to amphetamine drugs are taken by majorly obese individuals. It has a very synthetic. It is a synthetic drug. Its effect is like adrenaline. It boosts confidence, elevates mood, and we have high degree of consciousness, heightened awareness, feeling of well-being, increased alertness. So these are the things. And cocaine is a central nervous system stimulant. So it produces sense of excitement, heightened awareness, state of well-being, increased alertness. Sometimes disordered alertness and hallucinations. Cocaine bugs we see, formication. So like that, these are not that good. Then we have symptoms. So generally, what are symptoms means people lose interest in daily activities and sports. He lose weight and there's a seen or loss of appetite. He may be suffering with acute anxiety, depression, and profuse sweating. Acute anxiety, depression, and profuse sweating, and impaired memory of him and concentration, changing mood, impaired memory, concentration, or changing mood. So his memory may be impaired, concentration may be impaired, moods are changing, and he may be suffering from temper and tantrum if he doesn't take the drugs. So what prevention we have like prevention steps, we have legal approach, educational approach, community approach. So legal approach in the sense legislation may be directed. So we have legal approach. Legislation may be directed at manufacturing with the product or selling the product, or time of selling, or manufacture, distribution, prescription, a price, distribution price, time of sale, and consumption of the substance. So there are anti-smoking measures suggested are, so prohibition of sale of tobacco products to minors. So first of all, they'll manufacture the drug, then so we have legislation. Legislation means legal laws. So not everyone can manufacture the drug or prescription or distribution prescription, or not everyone has distribution prescription. Not everyone can be sold with whatever price they wish. It is a particular price decided by the legal legal authorities. And then we have price, as I already said, time. Sometimes in Gandhi Jayanti, at the time of Gandhi Jayanti or Republic Day, uh, some like alcohol maybe not sold that day, and consumption of a substance. So cannabis and cocaine abuse, according to NDPS Act, NDPS Act, which is not legally approved, person may be sentenced to imprisonment or punishment with fine or without fine. So some of the anti-smoking measures which suggested are, so prohibition of sale of tobacco to minors, and also prohibition of use of tobacco in schools or public areas, and prohibition of sale of cigarettes from automatic vending machines, smoking, and prohibition of cigarette advertisement, and there also mandatory public health education about the ill health effects of tobacco smoking, and uh, uh, insisting of the problems, or health warning on the cigarette packets, placing mandatory health warnings on cigarette packets. So these are the anti-smoking measures suggested. And then we have education approach. We have to educate target groups and public. mm, Target groups in school children and public through information from by campaigning or advertisement, electronic media. And then we have message should be clear and unambiguous to the intended audience. It should be clear that due to smoking, person may be developed may develop oral cancer, like that. So it should be clear, unambiguous to the intended audience, and come from credible source of information. So it should be credible. It should be written in the pack itself, or it should be said by some trusted authority, like that. So these are education approach. Then we have community approach. So there should be a strong emphasis on action at the community level to prevent drug abuse. So strong emphasis of action. It should not be any weak. It should be strong emphasis, credible action. Initiating preventive interventions in the community brings preventive at the community level, if you bring interventions, that brings preventive action at the level of people's everyday lives and actions, and contributes to emphasis on strengthening of primary health care. So these are the prevention approaches, like legal, education, and community approach. So then we have treatment. As usual, we have to identify the person, then we have to hospitalize him for the detoxification, and then we have to treat him and follow up after detoxification, and then we have to send him to rehabilitation. Uh, so not to rehabilitation is a formed drug use of a formed drug user in most cases a long and difficult process. Relapses, because relapses are very frequent. Facilities for vocational training and sometimes the provision of sheltered work opportunities are useful in rehabilitation and to prevent uh, relapse. So we have to give vocational training and sometimes work opportunities, sheltered work opportunities or vocational training. So I'll see what is about vocational training. Skills and vocational training, in the sense these skills and knowledge of a particular program or job or any work which we intend to give to the person sheltered work opportunities to prevent relapse. Then we have comprehensive mental health action plan. First of all, we'll see philosophy of community mental health program. So we have inpatient services, outpatient services, partial hospitalization, emergency, inpatient, outpatient, emergency, partial hospitalization, diagnostic, and pre-care and aftercare services, including foster home placement and home visiting. Foster home, in the sense, it is a place in which we send him to a trusted relative and all. Foster home placement and home visiting, we have to regularly visit a mental ill person. And we have education services. We have to educate him, vocational training, and research and evaluation. We have to see what is foster home. Oh, it is a residential institution providing care and guardianship of children whose parents are dead or unable to look after them. So it is a temporary care generally. We may become foster. So there's a huge difference between foster home and orphanage. So in foster homes, people uh, tend to provide a permanent home for children, whereas in orphanages, it is not. It is lack of that service. So lack of permanent home facility for children. So it is a major difference between foster home and orphanage. So we have comprehensive mental health action plan. Its overall goal is to promote mental health well-being, prevent mental disorders, provide care and enhance recovery, promote human rights and reduce mortality.